Poor blimey. I didn't see that coming. Did you?
The fourth round and he catches him. Coming in, Eubank's in all sorts of trouble. Liam Smith's going to stop Chris Eubank Jr. Again, it's waved off by Victor Lachlan.
So Liam Smith Jr. drops, stops, defeats Chris Eubank Jr. in the fourth round in already the upset of the year. I know we're only in January, but a lot of people were definitely picking Chris Eubank Jr. Probably on points, maybe even a late stoppage due to the weight stuff. Obviously, Chris Eubank Jr. fought up at super middleweight. Liam Smith coming up from junior middleweight. Wow. First of all, how's everyone doing? I hope you enjoyed the fight. That was one of the reasons why we watch boxing. You never know. You know, it's always full of surprises. One punch can turn everything. So let's talk about the fight. It was, you know, well, Eubank Jr., you know, pumping his jab out early, and Beefy Smith with the high guard and the pressure and trying to occasionally counter him with these sneaky little right hands. But, you know, that's the game plan, isn't it, to constantly turn up the pressure as the fight goes on. But if you're Eubank Jr., by the end of the third, you're feeling all right about yourself, to be honest with you, because, you know, he the first was up for grabs. I think I wasn't really scoring it, but, you know, it depends on how you score it. But the second, I think, you know, even Liam Smith alluded to the fact he was having an issue with Eubank's length, because he's got his arms out, obviously a little Roy Jones-esque, and he just shoots the jab and pops it in his face whilst moving. He's got the length, and like I said, Liam Smith alluded to that, and he was definitely probably having issues with that, and the movement and the athleticism and stuff like that. So, and then the third round, at the end of the third round, he started reeling off those uppercuts, Eubank. You know, he came in with the jab, and then he was like, that looked like some the uppercuts from old a little bit. And you're thinking, okay, this is going to be like, it could be a rough night for Liam Smith. And then at the start of the fourth, wow, he somehow got Eubank into the corner. And I think it was a right hand to the body that might have started it, because I'll try and pull some footage up. But then, you know, I think Eubank ducked. His defense in the corner was very poor. And that's part of the reason why it started it. He shouldn't be there. It's so vulnerable. But then, you know, he did get hit with a shot to the head, I think, that started, you know, making him very disoriented. And, you know, then that ginormous uppercut, boom, wow, what a shot. It was a barrage of punches, but that long, I mean, you talk about Eubank's chin. I'd love to see anybody stand up to that, to be honest. Not that Liam Smith is known to be the biggest puncher, but when you're talking about 10 ounce gloves and he's looping it, and well, not looping it, but he got the full leverage and stuck his shoulder through it, and Eubank didn't see it. And he hit him bang on the chin, and he still didn't go down from that, actually. He still didn't go down from that shot. And it was the left hook that dropped him, but that uppercut did a lot of damage. And then the hook, and I just was like, oh wow, that was a great shot. And then you saw Eubank, and I was like, wow, he's done. He's done. They should have stopped it right there, really. I mean, it wasn't long after, but he was done. You know, credit to Eubank too, because he wanted to keep fighting, and that just shows the courage and the spirit of this man. It reminded me of Zab Judah against Costa Zoo, actually, when the chicken dance, and Zab's like, I'm fine. Like, you know, you're not, bro. But nonetheless, fight got waved off. Beefy wins in, you know, a dramatic fight, really, in terms of the outcome. I did not see that coming. And respect to both guys, respect to Beefy, respect to Chris Eubank Jr. for coming in the ring after, because that is humiliating when you get stopped like that. And he was talking a lot of garbage before the fight. And, you know, you got to be careful when you're not honoring the sport, because, you know, things like that can happen, and you can eat some serious humble pie, which is why I titled the label of this Humbled, because there's no better way of humbling somebody or getting humbled than getting completely starched in a boxing match or MMA. You know, it's very humiliating. And, you know, he dealt with it well, I think, Chris Eubank Jr., to be honest, in terms of his gratitude and getting in the ring. That takes a big man to do that, and I've got respect for that. And, you know, fair play, but let's not take the shine away from Liam Smith. That was a fantastic performance. And wow, yeah, very exciting stuff. You know, already a tremendous year to the start of this boxing calendar with, you know, we love upsets, you know. And yeah, and there's a lot of talk about, you know, Roy Jones Jr. I'm going to make a separate video on that, so stick around for that. But I would love to know your thoughts on the fight. Did you, like me, thinking, all right, this is looking good for Eubank? Those uppercuts are coming in. He's got, you know, some good distance. He's using that jab, but you know, it was honestly, really, I think the foundations and its fundamentals of his lack of defense. You know, when you take away, like, if you can close the distance and you can back him up on the ropes, I mean, I think you saw Liam Smith, what you can do with someone that either hasn't trained or hasn't been taught how to defend themselves on the ropes like that. You know, hindsight's 20/20, so I don't want to kick the man while he's down, but defensively there were some gaping holes fundamentally for Chris Eubank Jr., I think so. But nonetheless, I really enjoyed that. And you know, listen, a rematch, actually there is a rematch clause, which is interesting because, you know, like, even, you know, Beefy alluded to this and he's like, well, why'd you sign a rematch clause? Because that does, you know, why did Eubank Jr. sign the rematch clause if he was that confident and coming in and 50% all this stuff? So I personally would love to see a rematch. You know, there's a lot of people calling for Eubank Jr. to retire. I've never understood that, to be honest. That's how he earns his living. It's not like this, like, you know, it's boxing. You can get hit with a shot and it can turn a fight, and you can hit with another shot and the fight's over. And you're like, what? How did we get here? So I would love to see a rematch. Stay tuned for the Roy Jones video. I'm going to do that as soon as I can. But for now, that is it from me. Just a short, quick update on the fight. You know, really not a load to talk about, as there was only 3 rounds. Really, there was what? It was in the first start of the 4th round, but enthralling stuff nonetheless. Very exciting, great for boxing. And you know, big up Liam Smith. Wow, is he the best Smith brother to come out of that family? I was thinking that about a year ago, to be honest with you. He's Mr. Consistent. You know, he's been fighting at close to the top level, if not the top level, when he was a world champion and fought Canelo. So let's give the man some props. Well, he does get them, but like, wow, what a performance, what a win. And you know, I guess where do they both go? You know, I think a rematch is a logical thing. It depends how Chris Eubank's feeling, and I hope he's all right. But like, in terms of Liam Smith, I guess he's obligated to do the rematch. Outside of that, I mean, the middleweight division needs a little bit of lifting up. So, I mean, he's a good, dangerous fight for anybody. You know, stick him in there with the likes of Munguia or Murata, the Japanese dude. I'm blanking a little bit on some of the other middleweight names. I know it's a bit of a dead division. I mean, even Golovkin. Would you? I wouldn't mind seeing Smith against Golovkin. You know, he's got a chin. He's saying everyone was talking about Eubank's chin. He's got a chin. He's right. I'm not saying, well, Golovkin's 40 years old. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. Anyway, that's enough from me. It's barely sunlight here in New York City. It's like 7, it's like almost 7:45, and so if I look a bit tired, it's because I am. But yeah, I hope everyone's well. If you're new, hit the subscribe button, like the video if you enjoyed it. I've got loads of videos coming. Roy Jones video coming in a little bit, and then I've got that What's Beef Benavides and Plant video, which will be out later today. But for now, be well. I'll talk to you soon.
Boxing.
On edge.